Shalom, dear friends. We are very happy to be here with you today and to read another text from the Bible and from Zohar and Tikkunei Zohar. There is a bit stormy condition today, so we had to configure the microphone settings and to change things. This is why we cannot yet announce on the time of which we're starting those streaming. I do hope that you understand. Now, I would like to read for us and to discuss with one verse from Genesis 49, verse 24. In general, this chapter opens the blessing that Jacob blesses his children. And this one that we're going to read now, verse 24, he speaks about Joseph. Let me read here first the Hebrew and discuss the verse with you. ותשב באיתן קשתו, and his bow stand firmly, ויפוזו זרועי ידיו, מידי אוויר יעקב, משם רואה אבן ישראל. But his bow abode firm, and the arms of his hands were made supple by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From thence, from the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Here, the blessing that Jacob gave Joseph relates to what happened with Potiphar's wife. And let's see how the Zohar reads the text. This is Zohar of Parashat Vayechi. This is Parashat Vayechi. This is the last portion of Genesis. This is article Ma'amar ben Porat Yosef. This is how his father called him, Ben Porat Yosef. This is letter 776. Yes, because not numbers are written, those letters are translated to numbers. ותשב באיתן קשתו, da keshet. This is a bow. מה keshet? What is a bow? da בת זוגו. This is his companionship. And I would like to make another remark. What is his companionship in this moment? The spirit, his wife, and we shall speak about it. Be'eitan. Now we move to Aramit. Eitan is a name which we meet in English as Ethan. There's a name for boys, for men, Ethan. I would like to write it here in 1 second. Yeah. This is it. This is the word Eitan. Here. Eitan starts with Aleph. Eitan. In English, we say Ethan. Let me just make it thinner that I will be able to write. Ethan, it means strong. Because those letters, Aleph, Yod, Tav, Nun Sofit, final Nun, all of them we use to negate the future tense. Well, I shall go, elech. He shall go, yelech, with Yod. She shall go with Tav, telech. We shall go, nelech. Those are very, very strong letters, unconditional because they are negating the future tense. Yes? So we have the word eitan, which is strong and firm and solid. So let's continue. Ba'eitan, tukpa, this is Armit. Tukpa albishat aloe. Tukpa is tokef. There's strings was coming at him, addresses him. Dela achlashat chele. How does it mean that he becomes strong? He was not becoming weak. His power was not becoming weak. Deha yadat de Yosef, because she knew that Joseph will not turn in this stage where he is, to the right and to the left. Those words not just being written in Aramaic, they're written in a way that it is to configure what is written there. But let's start again and see how they weave this idea. What happened? Because Joseph did not agree, did not give his consent. And here we see the word Vateshev Ba'itan Kashto. Kashto from Keshet. Kashto, his bow, we say in English, in Hebrew, Keshet. Keshet. Kov, Kov Shin Tav. Yes? Ma Keshet. What is a bow? Aramit says, Da Bat Zugo. This is his companionship. And we can say even his wife. Where do they come with this idea that the bow is his companionship or his wife? People might think. Let's look at the Hebrew letters and see how do they arrive to this idea. Here, Keshet, Keshet. This is a bow. There is a code in the Hebrew letters called Ik Bachar. Ik Bachar, when Aleph equals Yod equal Kof, meaning when 1 equals 10 or equals 100. Yes, because Kof is 100, Yod is 10, and Aleph is 1. According to this code, which is called Ik Bachar, because Bachar is the second here, because 2 equals 20 and Resh is 200. This is the code Ik Bachar. So according to this code, when Kof equals Aleph, Keshet, Keshet, we change the Kof, which is 100, with Aleph, which is 1. So instead of getting or reading Keshet, bow, we read Eshet. What is Eshet? This is a genitive of Isha, his companionship, wife. Yes? So, just to go to this mindset. Keshet, Eshet. Keshet is also something which is round, something that circles. Yes? Like the wife circles the husband. This is the dressing of the husband. Yes, as we were sharing last broadcast, that the word, yes, encompass the voice. So is the wife encompassing the husband. Yes. So let's go back. Da Keshet. What is Keshet? What is a bow? The bow is his companionship. Vatashav Ba'itan Kashto, meaning his companionship at this moment, the mindset was strong. Strengths addressed him, and he did not become weak because, and this is his companionship or the Holy Spirit, depends of how we read it, knew that Joseph will not move. in this moment, because he keeps, in a way, the covenant. So he doesn't move to the right or to the left. This is his one reading from the Zohar. There's another reading of the text, but now from Tikkunei Zohar. This is another text, and we shall read it. Meanwhile, Elijah came to see Rabbi Shimon and told him, Rabbi, Rabbi, sage, sage. This is the portion of the law. In all of the spheres, there is no unification, one in her friend, like male and female, but within a righteous, meaning in tzaddik. That the unification of both is not with all their organs, but in a covenant of the word. Let's see. In other organs, there is a relation of brotherhood, but not unification. And this is the secret of the tree, that its branches are separated above in each side. And the secret of the word, Vesod hadavar, ותשב באיתן קשתו, ויפוזו זרועי ידיו. And this is the secret of the verse that we were just reading. But there, down, all of them are one bundle or unification. And for this reason, in the lower worlds, in a righteous man or righteousness should unite the letters of the Tetragrammaton with his Holy Spirit. Let's see, it is quite complex, but let's see what he says here. To understand what is happening here, and to combine those two, we shall draw the tree here. Here. And now we speak about those spheres which are manifested in time and space. This is Chesed, this is grace, Gevurah, Tiferet, this is beauty, the heart. Yes, Chesed is to Abigail. Chesed is usually associated with the right arm, right arm, overcoming or courage with the left arm. So Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, right thigh, Hod, left thigh, Yesod, and Malchut. So Elijah comes to visit Rabbi Shimon, and he says the following sentence. He says that all the spheres have like brotherly relations between them, meaning they are neighboring each other. Let's say Chesed here, is neighboring or parallel to Gevurah, or neighboring Tiferet, or neighboring Netzach, eternity. There is relations of friendliness, yes? Or brotherhood, call it. Like, let's say Tiferet is close to Gevurah and to Hod, majestic royalty, and so, and to Netzach. So they are like neighboring, friendly relations. But Elijah says there's only one unification. All the other relations between the spheres are like friendly and brotherly and neighborly. They are next to, by there, and so the only unification that there is one between Yesod, this is foundation, and Malchut, kingdom. This is the unification. All the rest are just neighborly, but this is unification. So going back and unite both of those Zohar readings together, what comes out is the following, that Joseph kept his unity in a cycle. Yes? Here. Vatashav ba'itan kashto. Here. Where is it? Yes? So he did not, in a way, send his potential outside of himself. This is quite interesting. Why? Because the Bible, when the Bible speaks about the story, the Bible says the following, Kayom hazeh. Kayom hazeh, like this day. Kayom hazeh, like as today. The story, meaning the story is not just event that happened in the past, it is happening all the time, every day. The duality, or I would say even mechanical happening, always wants that the reason will participate in this. And Joseph says he holds himself, like Rashi says, that his dream was already happening here when everything is bundled. He doesn't go out to the world of duality, to the horizontal realm. He stays. Another thing is that we mentioned in the last conversation is the day this has happened, and not just as historical. Just let's try to think in those moments or those perspectives, if it is understood. There is always something going on. At this day, and this is just an example, people of the house of Potiphar went to celebrate for the river. When the river, we were speaking about the river Nile in Hebrew, in English, Nile, Nilus, here, this is how it is called, Nilus. Nile in English. So in this day, the Nile, the water of the Nile, were rising. And Pharaoh says in the Bible, I made a river, I am the river, I made the river, Li Yori, I made this river. So everybody were going to worship the rising of the water of the Nile worshipping Pharaoh as a king. He declares himself as a king of the Nile. And we can see the relation because we say Pharaoh has the same value as 355. This is a lunar, yes, lunar year. And when the moon is full, there's a tide, the water are rising. So everybody went to worship the manifested. And at this moment comes a request, because this is what is happening. There's a rising of the lower water. We were mentioning that the water of the Nile are like the final mem, because we can write Ma'im, water, in 3 letters. So those are lower water manifested, yes, and there's like those are like above the clouds. Or Bina, depends of how we non-manifested. So everybody were worshipping what? The manifested water going out. At this moment comes a demand from the wife of Potiphar, because she uses the word to be horizontal, and this is very, very interesting thing. Interesting is the value of Nilus, the Nile, is 156. Joseph, 156. Do you see the parallel? Do you see the parallel picture? Outside, people are going to worship the water rising from the Nile, worshipping Pharaoh as the king, or the maker of the Nile, or the people who think that they make the wheat grow and the apple grow and then they do everything, personal doership. On the other hand, inside the house, please see those 2 parallel pictures. They are not for nothing here. Yes, hello Fernando and Venus. Very good to see you here. Yes, Fernando, Joseph also raised feminine water, but in a correct way. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Please feel free to relate to it. And interestingly, Joseph finds himself in Egypt. He has the value. Today I just discovered it, and I would like to share it with you. I'm quite amazed. Another term is Kayom Hazeh, like today, Kayom Hazeh, because we can open, the moment we open it, the Bible, and we are reading it, it is happening now. What is happening now? This is what is happening now. Kayom Hazeh, like today, Kayom Hazeh, like today, has the value of 93, the years that Joseph lived in Egypt. He was sold when he was 17. He was there 93 years. He died at 110. Yes? And Kayom Hazeh, it is one day that he was basically in Egypt. He was the 11th son of Jacob, and he lived 110 years. Just another idea or example to what happened in our class. We had a child, he came from London, and he had to acquire Hebrew, and he also had communication problems, and as a consequence, the boys used to speak with their hands, as we say. And he used to take certain lessons in communications, and they try to, the takers and himself try to learn to deal with this problem. And because nobody likes to fight, not himself and not the other ones, but when people are catching like soft point in someone, they like to aggravate him. And he was working with a therapist for several years, and once we moved to junior high school, and we were in the same class in English, and again the boys aggravated him so hard, and he fought himself not to return with fighting like boys do. And he put both of his palms together between the fingers. He made like this finger to finger, like a carpet. Yes, he carpeted his palms like this. He made a cycle, and he held himself very strongly not to give a fight, because they immediately used to move, let's say, tables and desks, and he was holding himself in a cycle. This is a beautiful example of a bow. So hard, his body was he was in anger, he was in furious, who knows what came to him, but he was fighting himself not to bring back fights. So he held his palms together, he made a circle like this in front of him, like a bow, and he was so furious that there were like waves, like electric waves. He was trying so hard, like you could see there is a ring of fire going around him, that is trying to block his anger not to go outside of his bow, outside of his circle, to the external world, so to speak, not to say any word, to not to answer the boys, not to move a finger towards them. They were aggravating him, all the time. And this is what came to me today when I was reading this text. In a way, there is a bow, and the bow is part of a circle, and Joseph goes inside, doesn't go out to the world, but goes inside. Yes? And this is why the Lord says that he saw an image of his father at this moment, because in a way he is uniting, so to speak, inside, and doesn't go outside to the world. Uniting with the Father, it means not linear, horizontal. The other one, how do you say, vertical. The relation to the Father is vertical, not horizontal with the wife of Potiphar, but vertical with the Spirit, with the Father. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, feel free to ask. Feel free to say whatever you wish. Interestingly, what came to me when I was reading this Aramaic, that Joseph did not go out to the world, yes, like outside, let's say, to the world, because verse before it, his father says that people with arrows, yes, hated him. Vaistemuhu ba'alei chitzim, arrows. Peter, chitzim, chetz, this is chetz, arrow. Yes? Chetz from chatzi, half, part. The arrow just divides reality. And his father says one verse before, and people with arrows, like people with this deep sense of division, hated him. This he means the brother, the rest of the brothers that sold him. And moving from this idea, describing the reality that his brother, the owners of Arrow, hated him, but he did not return in a way in the same coin with an arrow and splitting reality into two and more and more divisions, but instead of, and this is what Elijah says here to Rabbi Shimon in the Zohar, he does not, in a way, not just, he doesn't divide reality into two. He doesn't go to the world of duality and use his arrow to split reality more and more. He doesn't go out to the world. He does not unite here, so to speak. He doesn't go down, but he goes up to the Father. He sees the image of Jacob here in Tiferet, yes, and in a way the split is in himself, and nafozu zo'ei al yadav, meaning the arms here are holding him together. The split is in him, but hug him from the inside to stay inside. Yes, it's the same arrow here. This is the same arrow, but the arrows or the arrow go inside, not outside to the world. Yes, it's like when we are in, let's say, not discussions, dispute, and people can shoot many words and aggravates others because they think it's right or it's the right place to say something, but sometimes to hold the word inside, we need twice courage to hold sometimes the word inside and not to shoot it like an arrow that will divide reality and will cause more argument or will aggravate people and will create more conflicts. So to keep the word inside when there's no place for the word to be outside, this is a beautiful moment. Therefore the Father here, Jacob, blesses him. Where it is? Here. He is aware of this difficult moment. Yes? Vateshev ba'eitan kashto, meaning his bow, not arrow. Please pay attention. He doesn't use here arrows. In the previous verse, he uses the word arrows, chitzim, regarding to his brothers, as splitting, and killing, but not him. Vateshev ba'eitan kashto, he doesn't return fire. He doesn't return in the same coin. Vayafozu zro'ei yadav, meaning he takes the, how do you say, this energy inside, does not go with this splitting to the world. And the continuity of the verse, midei avir Yaakov. Who is the knight of Jacob? The English says mighty one of Jacob. Abir is a knight like we had in the Middle Ages, round table knights. So in this verse, he defines Joseph as a knight. He is not a son. He is a knight. He's a warrior of the spirit. He is not a son. Abir Yaakov. He is the knight, is the best of Jacob. Yes, when we speak about numbers, we say Joseph is 6 times tetragrammaton. This is numbers, yes? But he is the knight. He is the best quality, yes, of Jacob. He's the best. Misham, from this point, this unification, yes? Ro'eh Even Israel. He is the shepherd that unites Israel, because Even is not just a stone, yes? Av veben, cause and effect, yes? Ro'eh, he can remove, because what is the, let's say, the quality of a shepherd? Not just collecting the flocks together and bringing them back in the evening to a safe place, that they will not wander somewhere and disappear, but a good shepherd like Jacob, he has the ability, with the power of the Spirit, to remove the stone that covers the well. Yes, like with Rachel, he has the ability to remove the stone that blocks the abundance and water everyone. And Jacob noticed this quality in Joseph, and it comes out in the blessing. Yes, Venus? Where in the Torah do we read a verse with the bow of Joseph? I don't understand how arrows are the enemies of the bow. Okay. So now you understand, Venus? You do understand now? Here, the verse of here, Kashto, Joseph and the bow. But his bow, this is Genesis 49, verse 24. Yes, but his bow, he did not use, yes, this mechanism of splitting reality. Yes, splitting reality, dividing people. Yes, he did not use it. Yes, he used everything that he had to unite. If we don't have further questions, yes? Yes, Fernando? Maybe the sages are also referring to the Sephirah Yesod that receives and connects. Yes, this is what Elijah says. Yes, Fernando. Let's return to Elijah's article. Very good. Yes, yes. 1 second. This is Elijah to Rabbi Shimon here. This is what you're saying. Meanwhile, I'm reading again, and you will find your words here. And if not, please also write. Meanwhile, Elijah came to him, to Rabbi Shimon, and told him, Rabbi, Rabbi, sage, sage, the not value, but the measure of the let's say, the measure of the law is in this way. In all of the spheres, there is no unification of one in the other, like as male and female, but within a tzaddik, like what Fernando says, Yesod, because Yesod is tzaddik. Yes? Felipe posted a drawing of Cordovero. Yes? Yesod, Sfirat Yesod, in this drawing is represented by tzaddik, tzadi. Yeah, tzadi is Sfirat Yesod. So, what does Elijah say? In all of the spheres, there is no unification one in her friend, like male and female, but within a righteous or within Yesod, because tzaddik is called Yesod. That the unification of both is not in all of their organs, but in a covenant of the word. In other organs, there's a relations of brotherhood and neighborhood, but not a relation of unification. This is it. The spirit with the word. The spirit with the word. This is unification, and this is happening in Sfirat Yesod. Sfirat Yesod is also related to the Tan. To the Tan. Yes? So there is a covenant, because without the tongue, it is impossible to speak. Yes, people without a tongue, they are incapable of speaking. So there is a unification, yes, between what? The tongue and the mouth. Yes, this unification between the tongue and the mouth creates what? Words. The history, yes, Fernando, the history and the image of... Questions that you would like to ask, I shall be happy to hear you, to see your questions. Shall be happy. If you have something to say or to ask, please feel free. Yes? Rashi says something very interesting about the blessing here of the arms of Joseph. Vayafozu zo'e yadav. Vayafozu, where is it? Comes from Paz. Yes. Vayafozu, Paz. Paz is gold. Rashi says that when he became secondary to the king of Egypt, later in the story, he had like golden rings. Yes. He was secondary to the king. Paz. Paz. This is gold. Gold. Another thing is that the Zohar says about Eitan. Eitan is a strong and firm and solid situation. The name to man in English, Ethan. The Zohar says that if we rearrange the letters of Eitan, we get the word Tnai. Tnai is a condition. In Aramaic, Tnai is two, like two. Why do we have condition? Because there's like A and B. If this, so that. So Joseph, according to the Zohar, did not exhibit any conditional. He was not conditioned in the situation. He was firm. Vateshev beitan kashto, firm. Eitan, strong. He was not conditional. There are people, or there are situations in which we are behaving differently according to the circumstances in the field of what is happening. Not here. Vateshev baitan kashto. This is firm. The ring is closing him, and he doesn't go out, because Tnai is not just condition in English. It means like Tnai. Tnei in Aramaic, it means two. So there isn't any two, because if there's an arrow, and here we come again to the perception of arrow splits reality to two, because it goes direct and splits, like with the head of it, reality into two. So in a situation, in a conditional situation, there is arrow, there's two. Yes? Not here. Everything is in a ring of fire. Yes? And this will be maybe another topic, how we say ring in Hebrew, a fire, and all of this. So it was very beautiful to be here with you and to tune the microphones and adapt them to the storm at the moment. I would like to thank you for being here with us today. Thank you so much, Ellen. I hope that the sound coming through. And we shall meet you tomorrow if you have the time on Discord at 4 o'clock Israel time. So until then, thank you so much and wonderful life. Toda and shalom shalom.